Hey guys, Smol here, and today we are going to be playing, obviously, RimWorld. So, if you can't see this right here, RimWorld is a colony simulator. Basically, you are crash landed or whatever the scenario is. Now, later in the game, there are more scenarios you can choose from to start, but with each scenario, for some reason or another, you are stranded in the middle of a planet similar to Earth, and basically it's your job to survive. So I do have a few mods installed, so not everything is base game. So we have mood adjustments, prisoner ransom, lovely hairstyle, I can fix it, Smol rim hair, area unlocker, spoons hair mod, blueprints, prepare carefully, which actually that's a bit cheaty for a survival series, wildlife tab, expanded prosthetics and organ engineering, basically so I can do more in terms of hearing loss and heart problems and all those different diseases, and feed the colonists, which basically all that does is let me cook 4 meals on a stove instead of 1. Okay, well, I guess we can play with the mods in. I'm not going to restart the game. But so, we are just going to go with the original scenario, crash landed. And then, because I still suck at this game, we're only going to go with base builder on Phoebe Chillax. Then we can do half the world. Oh yes, so RimWorld just got the Alpha 16 Wanderlust update, which was very exciting for me, because although I'm not usually an explorer in video games, I actually thought it was the update held things, the things okay, but basically, instead of just one place on a square map, you can choose from the whole planet. And if you don't see this here, it looks a lot like Earth. It's for a reason. So, these skull and crossbones, that represents pirates' camps. The houses are other just colonies. And these teepees or tents, those represent the tribes. So I normally settle in a forest. That's just my preferred area. And then I found, and this is just a logical thing too, but the closer you are to pirates, the larger the chance that you are going to be raided by pirates. But I also want to be able to get caravans out to trade easily. So I'm just going to settle right down here. In fact, 2 sides of my colony will be to the ocean. And if either one of these decides they want to be my enemy, although I don't know why that would happen, then it will be a bit easier to defend because I won't have to worry about an attack from over here. Or at least as far as I know, we can't walk through the ocean. Pretty sure that's not how it works. So if we just... Okay, let's see, average temperature 48 degrees Fahrenheit. It's kind of cold, but I think we can live with that. So we have 30 days for the growing period. Basically, that's 30 days that I can grow crops. And The reason it's only 30 days is because the whole year in RimWorld is not 365 days, but instead it is 60. Yeah, I did that right. Because it's 15 days for each season. And for some reason, summer is a month, and winter is a month, and all the seasons are now months. So we're just going to go with that. So we want our starting season to be spring. That way we have extra time to prepare. So now we have to go through the long process of finding characters that aren't complete crap. I will be back in just a second with cool characters. Okay, and we're back. So right here we have Sarai, I think she's called. And her traits are Green Thumb, which will be good, Careful Shooter, definitely good, though she'll be a bit slower when shooting. Careful Shooter, obviously she'll be a bit slower when shooting, but it will be good because her accuracy goes up by 50%. And then she's also a cannibal, which that won't be too much of a problem if we are careful not to let her near a butcher table that was not specified with the proper rules. It's weird to just think about. And then next we have Antonio, or Tony, and her traits are Iron-Willed and Pretty, which will be good. People will like her a bit more, and she is less likely to have mental breaks. 18% less likely. And then last but not least, we have Takuya, I think. I don't know how to pronounce that. Actually, his sister is Sarai. He's incapable of nothing. So is Tony. And I forgot to say, Sarai is incapable of interacting with animals. But he is a jogger and a night owl. The night owl can be a problem, but at the same time it can be helpful. Can be helpful because, say there's a raid during the night, you already have someone up, but it's also hard because if he is out and he's hunting or I don't know what he'd be doing. Maybe there's a raid and he's already up, which means everyone else is slow to get to the scene. He'd be more likely to get hurt. So we have to keep that in mind when we assign him his jobs. So I guess it's time for the game. Okay. The three of you awaken your cryosleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown RimWorld. As pieces of the shredded starship fall around you, you start making plans to survive. Okay, so before they even land, I want to go ahead and start collecting some of the materials that are already here. That way, when they land, I don't have to try to dodge my colonists. Okay, so as you can see, we actually do have the ocean to the left or the west side of the map. Then, sorry, I'm just surveying the land here. See, we have a wolf, a bunch of boomalope, but it could be a problem. Ooh, we have a fox. Hey, look, it's me. Oh, wait, that's a boy. We have a grizzly bear. Actually, we will have to keep an eye on some of these predators if we have any animals that land with us. I think we do. It's normally a golden retriever. We have a lynx over here. Okay, well, I think that's enough. Let's go ahead and wait for them to land. And yep, we have golden retriever. He's male. And he's 4 years old and his name is Jin. Okay, so I'm going to go with my standard design for housing in RimWorld. I know some people prefer to make separate houses, but I prefer to have one housing area with plenty of escape routes. That way everyone's close together in case of an emergency, but at the same time, people aren't stuck where they are. And look at that, more packaged survival meals. Okay, I should probably assign them weapons too. So, Sarah, yep, she was the careful shooter. So, pistol or survival rifle? I think I'll give her the pistol. And then, so she's iron-willed and pretty. He's a jogger night owl. So he's just bad at fighting. So she's good at both. So now it's just... Okay. Now, a lot of people assign different jobs for different people, but I find it easier if instead, for the first few days, everyone can do everything. That way everything gets done faster. And certain colonists have certain favorite activities, or activities that they favor over others. So since I don't specify what order they need to be done in, or the priorities, they do it in whatever order they feel like. So, okay, now time to start building the blueprints, which I find one of the most boring aspects of the game, but also vital. Without the blueprints, you're never going to get anything built. And if you don't have anything built, you're never going to get anything done. Okay, I just realized I do have the blueprints mod, which means I can copy an already built room, or an already built room to create a plan, and then just throw down that plan wherever I want it. So now we just have to wait for them to get materials together and build. And I know for a fact that I will not have all of the materials to get all of the rooms needed done right away. There's no way I'm getting this whole building done tonight. But I know I will be able to get at least their bedrooms and one of the entrances finished. But asking them to build more right now, they would go and they'd try to spread out the construction. So I'd get a bunch of barely started, nowhere near finished rooms. And nowhere for them to sleep. So then they're going to complain that they don't have a roof over their head, they don't have a bed, because they were not very smart with how they were spending their time. So it looks like everybody has used all of the wood we have. So now it's time to make them cut down trees, which none of the colonists like. They prefer building to cutting down trees. So after every single darn tree, they're gonna go back to the building. Okay, one more bed. We have all the room we need. You know, you'd think they'd be a bit less picky about their rooms. I mean, if I crash landed on an island, not an island, well that too, but if I crash landed on some random planet, I wouldn't exactly care if I had to sleep in the same bed as someone, I just wouldn't care. I mean, at least I had a bed to sleep in. Okay, hunter lacks ranged weapons. Okay. Well, obviously we don't want him getting up close to some grizzly bear, going at it with a knife. That would not be smart. So we don't need him to be a hunter. And then we also want them to have schedules. If they have some sort of schedule, then at least I know what people are doing, and they'll actually get things done. Because otherwise, when I get TVs and all that fancy stuff, they'll be sitting in front of them all day. Okay, so it's 21, that would be 11. So it's time for them to enjoy themselves, but since we don't have any sort of entertainment managing, I don't know, any joyful objects for them to interact with, we're going to have to let them just do whatever. So, while I put down the horseshoe pin, snowing in spring. Oh crap. Okay, well that kind of ruins things a bit. I just now realized how cold it is outside. 35 degrees. Great. At least they have jackets, but I'm not sure how much that's going to do. See, so he's comfortable and down to 6 degrees, 6 degrees, and 6 degrees. All of them 6 to 90? That's unusual, but okay. Well, at least they'll be comfortable for a while. Still cold, but comfortable. Okay, we should also start training Jin, because once we train him up, eventually his obedience, basically that lets one of these people become his master, or basically his owner. Release lets makes it so if I were to tell one of these people, pull out your weapon, or if I were to draft them, they could tell Jin to go out and attack enemies off in the distance. And rescue, that's basically if, say, Tony had been knocked unconscious or was bleeding out and no one could get to her in time. If there was an open medical bed with no one laying in it, Jin would be able to drag her back and help her into the bed. I don't know how he would get her into the bed, but he'd be able to drag her back. And then last but not least, hauling. That's what it sounds like. You pick up things, you haul them or carry them to their storage room, and put them down. Basically, all this wood, picking it up, putting it away in whatever storage room. So he would only haul at random. So we should probably get the rest of the building up. If we can do that anytime soon. Won't be able to make a farm for a while, so we're going to have to just hope we have enough survival meals to last us until summer, or at least until it warms up a bit. And of course, mud. Why not? Okay, well, that's going to make things a bit more complicated. Guess I'm just going to have to do what I can for now. And then later on I can get enough, if I can get the equipment through research to dry out the mud, I might be able to complete this building. Until then, I'm going to have to put some sort of a temporary wall right there to keep things safe. No one's going to be able to use this room as an actual entrance. Great. Oh well, at least it's less wood we have to use right now. I wish I could feel a bit more optimistic about that. Well, putting a wall right here will have to be sufficient. At least they have a shelter at all. It's not like anyone's going to be using this area at this moment. And now for probably the most annoying part. So this right here. And I'm not going to be able to be exact with that. But what I know for a fact, because I've built this design so many times before, that the very center of the room, the roof will not have enough support to stay up, so it's either going to collapse or my colonists will not even try to build it. So I guess we'll have to wait until they start building the roof before we can tell. And then this normally is the dining room for me. Then obviously these are bedrooms. And the entrances, usually I put either butcher tables or stoves in there, so they aren't just empty space. Because otherwise I could just slap a door on the other side of all the bedrooms. And yes, I know this is an awful lot of chairs for so few people, but I also am allowing room for guests. And eventually I do plan on actually getting more people. And there we go. This is the best we're really going to get our shelter for now. Let's see, we need a meal source or like a stove, campfire, something to cook with. And fences. Yes, we will need all that sometime soon. Actually, I wonder... Ooh, no, because that would still mess with my normal design, because I always put turrets right in here. And we'll be a bit safer from this side, since no one can really get through the mountain. Unless they dig through. But then again, not many people are going to be coming from over there. Okay, now to check out this trader. A hunter from the Red Plain Compact is visiting the colony. His name is Exorus Huntsman Hawk. He seems to have a few items to trade. Okay. Let's see, he's staggeringly ugly. He's a pessimist. And he's steadfast. Then he can't be scary. And he can't mine. He's really good at shooting. Okay at melee. And then he has a club. The only reason I'm reading off all these stats is because it is good to know who you're up against. Because there is always a small chance that somehow he is going to become an enemy. It happens to me all the time. It's like, hey, look, a traitor. And no way are we trying to attack him. But say we're hunting and he's in the way and he gets shot. Yep, it's very, very, very extremely annoying. Let's see, $52 for a component. No thanks. Herbal medicine. I think we're good with what we have. Pemmican, we have food for now. And there's no way I'm selling my components. I will need those soon enough. Okay. So here is the center of the room. I just realized I already had all the tables and everything built, so I should have been able to see that it's right here is the center, because all these tables are equally spaced from the wall. Well, you know, smart, Smol. That's just what I do, apparently. Okay. Well, I guess it looks like we should end this here. So, if you could just pet that like button to show your support, and subscribe for future furry uploads. Bye! Bye!